rhetoric in the immigration sanctuary debate. We're going to try to cut through all of that right now. Our guest is USF law professor Bill Hing, director of the Immigration and Deportation Defense Clinic at USF, as well as a member of the Police Commission, so uniquely qualified on both sides of this issue. Let's start with the law here. This seems like a case that ultimately is going to go all the way to the Supreme Court, but how long might that take?
Well, the process start to finish in filing a lawsuit and going through trial, then going to the Court of Appeals and ending up in the Supreme Court, if that, would probably take at least 3 to 4 years.
With appeals all along the way, correct?
Absolutely. This is not something that's going to be resolved overnight.
All right. Bill, police in sanctuary cities say they need these laws protecting undocumented immigrants because crime would go up and arrests would go down in those communities if people are fearful they may get deported for reporting a crime or testifying. Based on your experience with the San Francisco Police Commission, do you feel that's a valid case?
Absolutely. The San Francisco police chief and police chiefs across the country understand that when immigrants are in fear, they don't report being victims of crime or being witnesses of crime. And we saw that actually a year ago when the Trump administration first announced that it was going to start conducting sweeps and raids. Reporting of crimes actually went down in certain communities and certain zip codes. And so it's a legitimate concern on the part of the police.
Do you see a compromise anywhere here where, yes, we detain and deport undocumented immigrants who commit crimes, but we're still able to protect those people who are law-abiding citizens with jobs, who are paying their taxes? In some cases, Bill, we've seen people who've served in our military, fought for our country, and they still get deported. How do we work out a compromise?
Well, I think the governor really did try to work out a compromise. He actually was not happy with the original version of what's called SB 54, which is what Mr. Sessions is going to challenge, the so-called state sanctuary ordinance. The first version of that did not have carve-outs that satisfied the governor, and those carve-outs are that when somebody's been convicted of very serious violent crimes, those folks actually will be turned over to ICE, and so that was a very difficult debate that went on. A similar kind of debate went on in San Francisco when Mayor Ed Lee was alive, and 2 or 3 years ago the sanctuary ordinance locally was modified. And so this is not about letting somebody out on the street who has a proven track record of being a violent criminal. That's not what's going to happen under these laws.
Short answer, because we're up against the clock here, but we're asking our viewers, who do you think is going to win this case? You have more expertise here than the rest of us. How do you think it plays out? Who wins, ultimately?
Ultimately, the sanctuary ordinances will be upheld. This is not about regulating immigrants. It's about public safety.
All right. Professor Hing, thanks so much for your time. I know you're very busy. We appreciate it. Thanks.